Knights at the Round Table, a round-table discussion on speculative fiction books and film.
Hello and welcome to one of the last episodes of this season for Knights of the Round Table. I'm here with Nathan, and I'm Sonia, obviously, as usual, and we're going to talk about A Quiet Place, the post-apocalyptic sci-fi horror adventure family drama?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Let's start with initial thoughts.
Oh my god. This was the best movie I've seen all year.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've seen a few.
No, cut, print, we're done.
Yeah.
On my side, I had no idea what I was getting into going in. Like, I had heard the name. I had heard that the wife read the script and was like, you have to cast me in this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Great. I was expecting a slasher. Ooh. I was expecting like, they moved to this place in the middle of the woods and there was a slasher. That's what I was expecting.
How did you survive the first 10 minutes?
Well, you told me it would be sad. Holy crap, this movie does not let you... Like,
no,
normal post-apocalyptic things, normal old post-apocalyptic things will have like newspaper article, news scene, dead person, and then go into the people. No. Mother looking through pharmacy. Everyone is quiet.
Yep.
To start with, I kept bringing up the sound, thinking there was a problem.
No.
And then I started hearing little clicks and. The sound design in this was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. I actually went to see this in the theater.
Oh, it must have been so good.
It was amazing. Like, you have no idea the kind of experience where you're sitting in the dark and there's just film and people bought food. They can't eat. Nobody can eat. Nobody can make a sound. Every time you're making the slightest sound rumbling in your chair, you're like... and everybody stares at you, so you're like, okay, I'll leave the crackers alone. It's fine.
Oh, that's hilarious. Reminds me of the one time we filmed this show with an audience. Was eating carrots.
Oh my god. Yeah, I know. It's about the same, except you're not feeling angry. You're like, what? Oh.
While me watching at home alone, I was taking particular joy in my crunching of my chips. Take that, fake villains.
Well, walking out of the theater, it's sort of a surreal thing because the world resumes, and you have all these sounds and you're still feeling jumpy and sort of cocooned in that silence.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that builds a world and sucks you in so thoroughly. Like, I was like, okay, I'll watch the first 5 minutes and then go make myself a coffee. No. And then I paused and it was 45 minutes in and I'm like, wait, where did the time go?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't stop. There's one lull.
Yeah.
Or two.
And most of these lulls are serve as, all the exposition also. Yeah. And all the exposition in that movie is so well visually put. You have all of the background information. There's almost no dialogue in this movie. And everything is provided to you via small little shots of images. Oh, this is where he gets the sand. Oh, this is how they've survived. Oh, this is how they've built this. This is how they've made this work.
Yeah, there is a conspiracy wall where he has all his information on them and it...
There is, but you could do without that, and you would understand everything anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the American Sign Language they use is so sparse.
It is.
It's going to be hard to find bad things about this movie other than trauma. Oh, but it was necessary for the kind of movie that it was.
Oh, absolutely. And it wasn't, I felt, because this happens, spoilers... this happens way at the beginning of the movie, with the little boy and everything.
Yeah, it's less of a breaking of a promise and more of a, okay, this is what kind of movie this is going to be.
Yeah, and you spend the entire aftermath. It's not a monster movie where you're just feeling, oh my god, there's this ominous presence out there. You see it 5 minutes into the movie. Boom! This is the monster. This is what it looks like, and this is what it will do. And it is heart-wrenching and excruciating. And this is
the
world.
Terrifying.
Yes,
it is really hard to make a monster terrifying and when you
Show
see
it.
it so early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing is, this movie isn't about the monster, and it isn't
No.
about the fear. It's about the family and the aftermath of this tragedy, which they all blame themselves for. Every single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that first scene, I was like, oh my god, what have I gotten myself into? But it was important. You can't... Okay, spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie and you want to, stop here. You can't kill a kid in the last third of a movie.
No.
If you haven't done it already.
Yeah. Exactly.
Looking at you, Star Wars. Sorry.
But this is the thing, because they killed this tiny little child in such a horrid fashion right at the beginning of this movie, anything goes.
Absolutely.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
Any one of them could die from then on, because the worst has already happened.
Mm-hmm. But the great thing about it is, okay, maybe this isn't... It's unique, it's special, but it follows every single plot point of a typical, almost invasion movie, like those post-apocalyptic horrors. But it does it with so much heart. Like,
it does.
You genuinely care about all the characters, all 4 of them. Well, 5.
And in the end, it isn't like the fight against the monster isn't like the survival of the human race and the win of this battle. It's like, what happens to this family in this moment now?
We have no idea if anyone else survived.
Nope.
We have no idea.
Well, we do, because of the lights. When he's on the top of the tower there and he's lighting his fire, you can see that there are other fires being lit.
Ah, okay.
But for all intents and purposes, these people are dead. They can't reach them. Like, everybody is isolated.
Yep. And we did see that old couple.
Yeah, the old couple.
Yeah, I found myself, like, holding my breath at times. Because it's like, I don't want to be the reason she dies. Wait, this is a movie.
Oh, me too. You get so caught into the whole atmosphere of this movie.
That woman.
Oh,
Holy
yes, please, let's talk about Emily Blunt and how her performance is in that movie. God, what an actress.
She has no dialogue to ham up. She has nothing, and she manages to impale herself on a nail, give birth, protect the baby from screaming, and save her other 2 children and lose her husband all in one night. It's like...
Yeah, this is... Honestly, a lot of people have criticized this movie for, like, Emily Blunt being literally barefoot and pregnant. But, for God's sake, if you're looking at this movie and walking out of it and thinking anything less than this woman is the epitome of all the badasses from every single action movie you've ever seen in your life, you've missed something very important.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, she was barefoot and pregnant. Everyone was barefoot.
Everyone was barefoot. And she was the pillar, the strength of that movie.
Yeah.
All of the power. Like, it wasn't the father being, like, the brave man protecting. She was the cornerstone.
He was there.
He was absolutely
He was
there.
fantastic, but she was the center.
Yeah,
the
she was.
heart. She was the one pushing the story forward in every way possible. Either by giving birth or by encouraging him to talk to his kids or save them or blah, blah, blah.
And this entire sequence when she is in labor in the house and the monsters are there, they're right here, and she can convey this pain of labor and the fear that she's experiencing, and all of this she has to do in complete silence. It's out of this world.
Yeah. I actually believed her.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only seen one woman give birth, but it was believable.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've given birth myself, and yeah, I really like this. I was going like, oh my God, like this got me at the very bottom of my being. I was just like, completely...
All I kept thinking was, I'm glad it's not a first baby.
Oh, good Lord. Good Lord, thank goodness.
In general, not an absolute rule. Several babies in goes a little faster.
Well, also, you know what to expect pain-wise.
Yeah, and this would be her fifth?
Fourth.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's another thing that let's breach into it. We've talked about Emily Blunt, but the performances for every single actor in this movie was just absolutely stellar.
It's an hour and a half with 4 main characters who are actually acting. Mm-hmm. I mean, the baby doesn't count, and the little kid at the beginning is dead so quickly.
Yeah.
And they are all completely believable and, like...
And it's all about acting. It's all about their bodies and their faces, because it's silence. It's silence. There's no swelling music to carry you through the day. There's a little bit of soundtrack, and very sparsely.
The only soundtrack is in times of absolute panic running.
Yes.
So if you see someone running, there's a soundtrack, and it's amazing. It's like borderline heavy metal, and you're like,
yeah.
And then cut to click, 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 and you're like. And
most of the time you're in complete and utter silence and no dialogue other than ASL, which is, you know, all about expression and body language and everything. So these performances, not just of Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, who were just, oh my god, like there's moments where all you're seeing is their faces as they're thinking and reacting to stuff, and you're just...
When she's in the dead boy's room, looking through his stuff, and I'm like... It would be so easy for them to add a flashback or something else, but no, it's all her performance.
And it's
I
so
loved
powerful.
the sparsity of this.
Yes.
You could have had the 2 parents sitting there for 10 minutes signing about, oh, isn't it terrible, the apocalypse, blah, 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 these
but you
monsters.
Don't need to. It's
don't.
all in the looks and the touches they exchange and the pauses they take.
You don't. But a lesser writer would have.
Yes.
It's something that is so common in horror and science fiction. Sorry, I love Star Trek, but the boardroom scene where they sit down and they talk through everything that's happened and going to happen, and you're like, it wouldn't have fit in this.
There's one conversation. There is one conversation in that movie when they're in the room in the bottom when she just gave birth, and she realizes they can talk because this room has been so insulated, and you know you see them working on it throughout the movie for the specific purpose of having a baby, because you can't just tell a baby be quiet. That doesn't work.
Oh, my heart broke when I saw the crib.
Oh, I know. Let's not. But before I just want to say this one conversation that they have. There's no exposition. There is not a single iota of
Pure
exposition
emotion
in that conversation. It is all about the child that they lost.
The only little bit of exposition in dialogue was when the son and the father talk.
Yes.
And that was to prepare us, in case we didn't understand sound as well,
Yeah.
for when the mother's hiding under the dripping water.
Exactly.
Which, everything set up in this movie is delivered on, and none of it feels like they're holding your hand.
Yeah.
But it's obvious. Like the zoom in to the weakness or the nail or that.
Yeah, definitely. And the children, their performances are also just out of this world. The little boy, how he lives through his fear, his absolute abject terror, how he plays through the day, you know, and how he tries to do what is expected of him and be brave, but you know, he's just a scared little kid.
Yeah, the entire family's living in constant fear. So good.
And I think one of the highlight of this movie was definitely, I cannot remember her name right now, but the deaf actress that they brought on board.
The daughter.
It was just...
Was she actually deaf?
She was. And that was
good.
one of the things that John Krasinski actually insisted on, bringing on a deaf actress, and she actually brought a lot of things to the script. Like, she changed the way that they did the ASL. She changed a little bit of how they communicated that scene where you know, she's just telling him just stop with the cochlear implant. That was, you know, her input changed that scene significantly.
Good. Because it was completely believable to me, but I'm not important.
Yeah.
The deaf person has to believe it.
Exactly.
So, sadly, this isn't the first movie that we've both reviewed together that has the death of a child.
That's true. So we did mention The Mist a few episodes back.
Yeah.
And we were just talking during the break about how I didn't think I was going to do well with this movie because it has the death of a child, and as a parent myself, it's something that really deeply affects me. But I thought it was not only done well, sensitively and efficiently, but it was if that hadn't happened in the movie, there would have been something severely lacking.
Yes, it takes the fear aspect and brings it from 5 to 11.
Yeah.
And it wasn't done for a cheap thrill.
Yeah.
I find that The Mist and a few others, they do it for shock value, while this, it shocked you, but it informed the rest of the movie. Everyone is dealing with it.
It did, and one of the things that I love horror movies like this. This was basically kind of a zombie movie, like a post-apocalyptic thing, and I'm a huge fan of these movies. But one of the things I feel they don't deal with enough is, there's the fear, your world is ending or has ended, and you have to like live in this constant fear of death and everything. But where's the grief? You've likely lost everybody you've cared about ever, and I find that a lot of these movies, even sometimes stories of survivors that are like months or years after the end of the world, they don't dwell on their lost family members that much. And I don't know, I think I would.
Yeah, that's why I prefer the zombie movies that are usually like 12 to 24 hours after, because you can just assume everyone's in shock.
Yeah.
But later it goes, the more you're like, why do you not break down every time you see something that reminds you of like a million people that died?
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll often do something like, oh, I miss Cheerios or chocolate.
Yeah, you miss Cheerios? I miss my kid. Like,
yeah. But no, this really informed everyone, felt it. Oh, man.
Yeah. And
it also set up stuff. So, like, the earpiece that she wore, she blamed it not working a little bit, as much as on herself. Mm-hmm. So she didn't want to wear it, and then she didn't put it on till later, and that's what let them go towards the weakness, which was intelligent. Oh my god, thank you. There's nothing worse than the monster's weakness being stupid.
Yeah,
like
no, it was
water.
this really or germs.
Or germs.
I mean,
or country
germs,
music.
That was the thing?
Yeah, Mars Attacks.
Oh, well, Mars Attacks. I think. Like,
let's not get back into that. Grr.
Anyway, it was really good, and it wasn't. You know, I've seen people online discuss how like, well, it doesn't make sense. It's sound and cochlear implants. It's not sound. It's
feedback.
It's feedback, exactly. It's different. You know, and you can see that it's not sound because nobody else hears it.
Yeah.
Like the mom, the brother, the father, nobody hears this feedback. It's not sound. It's not like a loud sound. They represented it using sound because, like, how are you going to talk about electric feedback without any cues? But
it made me think a lot of, I have older relatives that have had ear things, and every once in a while you'll hear a little hissing.
Yeah.
My uncle was very fond of yelling at his sister, Desmarais! Jeannette! Desmarais! Which always made me laugh. And it was always when they were hissing. But it was sort of an extension of that kind of thing, where there's a feedback between their electromagnetic sound.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
And that's why they attacked the TV, because it was a similar thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and also, like, I don't know if you noticed, but every time they were near, like, the lights flickered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you know, like, I know they had, like, this whole perimeter of lights where they switched from, like, yellow to red for danger and stuff like that. But you also realize, as you're watching the movie, because I've seen it twice now, and you know, as they're walking, like, as the aliens are getting close to the house, these lights flicker. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about alerting other people. It's also about, like, are they coming?
Yeah. That's really smart. Yeah. I just really love the monsters. I hate them at the same time, but I'm really glad they couldn't smell.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if they had any sense of smell...
Yeah.
But no, I love that. I both love and hate that they're not explained. Are they aliens? Are they genetic mutations? Are they monsters from hell?
At the same time, it's not important. It's really not important. That's
like
not
I said,
what
I
the
love it,
about,
and I hate it.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that I hope they never make a sequel, because then it'll become like next...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the crib.
The crib was a box padded for soundproofing with an oxygen tank tube in it, so that they could put a little oxygen mask, teeny baby oxygen mask, on the baby in the box so that you couldn't hear it cry.
Yeah. But this is a good thing because, well, a good thing. It's good that they acknowledge, well, a baby's gonna cry.
Yeah, when I saw her pregnant, I was like, how the
me
hell
too,
are you going to do this? This is insane.
Yeah, no. And, like, of course, I was, like, thinking, well, giving birth is loud, but babies are so loud. Holy crap.
You can't shut up a baby most of the time.
No.
I was looking at it and I'm like, this is the one time I'd be okay with soothers. I'm not a big fan of soothers, but...
Yeah, and like, what about
better.
SIDS? Like,
oh god,
think about it. They're like, you can't even put comforters on them, but they're putting it in this tiny little box and stuff like
I
that.
suppose the fear of SIDS is a lot less when you've got
aliens that are gonna eat it.
Yeah. And then the entire family. Man, those things were persistent, eh? They'd kill someone and be like, yeah, let's stick around. I think I heard someone else earlier.
Yeah.
There was this one scene when the daughter is running back. The son had just knocked himself out on the tire of the tractor, and she sees the light. And she's sitting there, and the monster's coming up behind her. And my brain went, well, everyone's going to die in this movie. All right, I'm going to prepare myself for everyone to die.
I had that moment, too.
It's a perfectly paced.
Yeah.
So... very little hope, but a little bit, and then a little, and then boom, nothing, no hope. They're all gonna die, and then they hit you with the ear implant.
Yeah,
and it takes a few more action scenes before you realize they haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah. Oh,
how are they gonna figure it out?
And the awful, awful irony of figuring it out right after the dad dies.
Yeah, but they saved the baby.
They did.
And man, did the mom look badass.
Holy shit, that last shot.
That last
bring it on. Like,
and that smile.
Oh, shit. I have shivers just thinking about it.
Yeah. So I would never let my wife watch this.
Yeah, my wife would probably not handle it very well either.
I think she'd be traumatized forever.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy horror movies, this is a movie for you.
Absolute must see.
I normally don't like... I almost realistic horror movies. I like monster movies, slashers, alien invasions.
Yeah.
This is way more heartfelt and realistic than I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
But it was beautiful. Everything about it, every shot.
Oh yes, everything is calculated.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nothing in there that you could just cut from the movie without removing an important element.
No. It hits the ground running, and it takes its hour and a half and uses it really well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's so nice to see a horror movie that uses its time instead of wastes it.
Yeah.
There's some... As much as I love superhero movies, and I love Lord of the Rings and all that, they've started a trend towards longer movies, and many production companies and writers do not use the time effectively.
Yeah.
It's just another fight scene or another... everything in this was important.
Yeah, every single detail.
Yeah, the only things you could cut were like the credits maybe.
But then you wouldn't know to like give an Oscar to Emily Blunt.
Oh my god. And considering it was a farm, one location, really, maybe two if you count the
like
bridge
the town,
and the little town. 4 actors, really, and a few little extras. And that is it.
Yeah.
The amount of work that had to have gone into this. Krasinski directed, right?
Yes, he did.
And he co-wrote. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I will go see any movie he directs.
He's normally comedy, isn't he? Like, wasn't he a TV comedian?
He's in The Office.
The Office, okay. Yeah, I've never watched The Office.
I know. It's just kind of like...
But I remember seeing his face in that, like, goofy Chris Pratt expression. You know,
Oh, yeah. And, when I saw him doing this movie, I was like, okay, well... I'll give it a shot. It seems interesting. This was... It blew me away.
Yeah. It despite the fact that it was a full-size movie, it felt like a perfect horror story.
I think it was based on a short story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know that it was based on some kind of... I don't think it was a book. I think it was a short story.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so final thoughts and star rating.
I don't buy a lot of movies, but I'm gonna buy this one. Just see it.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I'll rewatch it, but talking about it, I want to rewatch it. I watched it this morning and my heart is still beating, and like it was so intense.
Mm-hmm. I went to see it in the theater, and I wasn't sure that I would like to rewatch it, and I rewatched it in preparation for this, like to actually make notes instead of just be swept away by the amazingness of this movie. But no, there's so much art in this movie.
Yeah, I think I think it might be added to my list. Like I have Resident Evil and a few others that I watch when I'm sick.
Yeah.
Yes, I watch horror movies when I'm sick. It makes me feel better when I watch people die randomly. Or action movies, as long as I'm not too dizzy. All right, so sorry, did you give it a star rating?
5 stars. Very solid 5 stars.
I'll go 4.5. Just because I'm still a little uncomfortable. Which is probably means it'll end up going up to a 5. But if you enjoy horror movies, watch it. If you don't enjoy horror movies,
you might still like
kind of, just be warned.
Yeah.
It is traumatic.
Yeah.
And there's a feeling when you were talking about it, when you get out of the cinema and like the real world is there and it just feels not as right. Not like you just walked through an alternate dimension. I got that with the DVD. I rarely get that with the DVD.
Yeah. It's and it's really about the people. It is a family drama. That's really what it is.
Okay, let's pick the next movie.
The Addams Family.
Ooh,
Love that movie.
Yeah, one of the best healthy relationships in film and television.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
But I'll let people talk about that next week. For now, thank you for watching. This has been Nights at the Round Table. I'm Sonia. That's Nathan. You've comments.
Changed, Sonia.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I do a full transformation. Don't tell anyone I'm a shapeshifter. So I or the other Sonia will be in the comments at some point. I think prowling? No, stalking. Something like that. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, ding our bell, all that stuff. Bye.